And hello everybody and welcome to a new Let's Play. Today we start with Endzone. A World Apart has just been released in early access on Steam. So it's the first day of this game and it's quite similar to Surviving the Aftermath. So you survive in a desperate and, well, dead and barren land and just have to survive. Well, Alright, this is it. Endzone, A World Apart. Finally, and hello everybody, welcome to a new Let's Play. Endzone just been released on early access on Steam, and a typical survival game. Probably we're going to survive against nature and stuff like that. So in this regard, it's quite similar to Frostpunk. In other regards, it's quite similar to Surviving the Aftermath, and there's also been a new update on this game today, so also new things there. I already have a video of Endzone on my channel, but well, we'll just see what happens in the meantime, what happened there, what new updates arrived there. We are already on a map now, as we can see here, on a big map. So the maps are generated randomly, they're always different, and this time I ramped up the difficulty settings there quite a bit, just to see how difficult the game really gets. We have even fewer settlers in this case here, so we have 8 adults and 5 children. Now the children will grow up, but up to that point they can't work for us, and the adults, well, they can do various things that we need to do for them. When we look around here, we do have our bus rack here in the center. Now the bus rack is our storage, our, well, you might say community center, where everything is being located around it. When we look at the landscape around us, we do have some scrap pile here, car wrecks here, we do have a beautiful lake up here, a smaller, well, let's say pond on this side here, and also some ruins over here. Gas station that we have them. Gas stations are interesting factories. There might be something in them, so there you can find something in there. Nuclear power plant, really interesting. Big one over here, and then some larger lakes there. All right, before we continue talking into oblivion, we are just going to start here in the middle of the town here, and we need to do a few things there. Hello everybody. Hello Amy. Hello Wolf. Hope you're doing fine. First things first, we do need to gather some stuff. Now we do have a bit of water, we do have a bit of food, some wood, scraps and tools, and here also some radiation protection. That is quite important because with radiation protection we can then defend ourselves against radiation. When we look at the map there, we can see radiation levels are low at the moment. There's no radiation around our camp at the moment. Light radiation is also not a problem. There is some medium radiation. This is already causing sickness and stuff like that, and you don't want to have sick citizens there so early. Let's have a look here. We do have some tasks at hand. So the first task here would be gather all resources, gather scrap, gather plants. I think in this regard here, we do have some woods that are rather close to our town, so I might want to get rid of them. So here I can place the flag there, and then my citizens get rid of the forest here that we have there, right? That's something. Also gather some scrap. Now scrap is something that we need for buildings and tools and stuff like that. We do have a bit of scrap here, not much, but a bit. Let's gather this too. And gather plants. That is something for food, and also herbs that we need for medication and stuff like that. So that we can also, well, collect here in the forest. Now we do have the 8 settlers here, and they're now going for those tasks, as we can see. We have Alicia, we have Charlotte, we have Mohammed, and we have Virginia. So lots of settlers there, and they have, well, they have an age, they have an education, they have tools, clothing, they have some happiness there, so we also need to keep them happy there. This one here is a young adult. They can die then of old age or, well, something else that might happen on the way there. And she's a settler at the moment, just like the other ones. She's chopping some wood there. Now, like with Frostpunk, the game gets more difficult as we continue through the seasons. One season is one day, and here we can see the weather forecast as well. So we have some rain now. Every day there is no rain on this day. Rain is good because it can wash away the radiation, and, well, it washes my fields. Rain is also bad if it's radiated, because then radiation levels climb, and for that, to predict that, at the moment we can't predict how high the contamination of rain is, but in the future we can have a weather forecast for that. Now, beside that, we also have like droughts that can happen, sandstorms, stuff like that. So like with Frostpunk, where you have these blizzards, something similar here in Endzone that gets repeatedly more difficult then. And that is something like that. What the game does not have, like Surviving the Aftermath, is quests. So we do have some tasks from time to time that we can do. Other than that, not really any quests there or something like that, if you're expecting that. There we can see the first trees are being chopped down now. People are going here to and fro. We can also speed up the game whenever we want to. At the moment we have nothing here, only a bus rack. When we look at the bus rack there, build, repair, and limitation on the protection. Here we can say how high should the protection be for my settlers there, how much can they consume of my protection. At the moment, well, they basically don't need any protection, but let's just keep it up there. And upgrading building, that's something for later. Right, so those are the things. Most important early on is water. Up here we do have a pond, a lake, a smaller lake, something like that. And for that we will need a chatty. That already costs us a bit of wood there. So let's have that. So boardwalk, that is. And we can have this here. So that we have the first building then. And a cistern close by. The cistern is, well, then housing the water carriers that we need on this one here. And we can place it somewhere here close to it, so that we can then start our water production here around that. So I'm just going to have it rather right around it. Something else that we do need is some roads. Now with the roads, people will travel faster, obviously. And let's have that road going all the way down here to our town center. And as we can see already, we do have some outlines here where we can have the roads and where there are some entrances for the building then, something like that. Right, so we do have 8 settlers. Now we do need to reassign some of them to builders. Let's have 4 builders for now. They're going to build now the roads for us. They're going to build the cistern and the boardwalk up here. I do like the graphics so far, gotta say that it looks rather bleak, but lots of details there, nice vegetation. And in this regard, let's just wait it out. We can watch them on the very first day here. Let's also have a look at the rain there so that we can see the soil moisture, how moist the soil is. And in this regard here, as we can see, dried out. This one here, there we have some moist. There we have all wet, that's the lake. And the thing with that is we need to keep that in mind once we place some fields. Right now we don't have any fields, but in this case we need to look out for them. All right, let's turn off the overlays there again. It's nighttime now. We do get the first paths here, and the boardwalk is also finished as far as I can see. Yep. And we definitely need it because water resources or water storage is going down. The cistern is being built. We do have lots of wood though. So we can actually go for the next buildings then, right? We do have the food. That's the next important thing. Food is going down over time. And the fishing hut is something that we might have. And the fishing hut, well, we do have a lake here. So let's also have a fishing hut. And let's have the fishing hut over here. Efficiency is then 100%. That's fine. Why am I doing it here? Because here I want to have my water production up and running then later, you know, so we do need a bit more space for that. And there we have the fishing hut. What I can see here is that we do have some higher radiation. So in this case, we can say remove the radiation in this area there, where we have the entrance to that building there. All right, and let's have another dirt road going then here connecting with the cistern so that we start our own little road network. And it's raining now. Can we see? Weekly contaminated rain it is right now. So that's that. So contamination levels rise a bit, but not much. And as we can see, it's moderate. And low really is low chance of sick settlers there. So we shouldn't worry about that too much. Still 8 adults, 5 children. The more adults we have, the more children we'll have. And children grow up and become adults. Thus our workers there. That's something we need to keep in mind. Now the cistern, what's going on here? It should be built now, by now. They're building the path here. There it is. And yeah, we're going to see if they solve the water problems. Last time I played this game, we had huge water supply problem there. We just weren't able to get our water storage up. And in this case, hopefully we do it better this time. There's the cistern now. And the most important thing is let's assign 5 water carriers right away. So almost all the settlers that we have. And why so many? Well, because water is really a problem. Gather wood here. In this regard, we can now demolish that. We don't need that any longer. And gather plants. Let's... Oh, it's... Yeah, there's nothing in its vicinity anymore, so no reason to have that. Here too, we have the scrap. There's nothing there anymore. Let's get rid of that. We still have some scrap here, so we can put a task up there. Whenever my people are bored, they will just do those tasks then. Gather scrap here. 46 that we have. And gather wood. We still have a bit of wood here. Or down here that we can get rid of. Yeah, let's have it here. And gather plants. Herbs and plants. We can have that here. So we can get rid of the whole area here where we then have our city. And yeah, as we also can see, this is a really nice effect. Here we have dried out soil, so really dry soil, and here we still have some fertile ground. And this changes, you know, it depends on the season, depends on the how much rain we get, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So this changes dynamically, and you have to adjust for that, of course. Now, what happens here? We do have now 9 adults. A child grew up. That's good. And as we can see here now, 5 water carriers getting the water from the lake. And thus our water supply is going up quite quickly in this case. That's fine. And here the fishing hut. That's the first food production building that we have then. And it's being built now. Coming up over here. And there's the fishing hut, our next bigger building. For the fishing hut, let's get rid of 2 builders and assign them as fishers so that we start producing some food here. And in this case, we do have now 2 builders that are... Actually, now that the water is going up that much, let's get rid of 1 water carrier. Let's have a free settler there. 3 free settlers there, and they're just then gathering those resources that we need here. The wood, the scraps and stuff like that. Of which we have plenty around us here still, so enough scrap there. While that is going on, let's have a look there at our list of buildings that we can have and stuff like that. So we have the water production here, then we have the food, so that's the fields that are the most or the most optimal way of producing food, but also, well, require some work with the rain and stuff like that. We have the fishing hut now, and the hunting and the gatherings cabin. So those are also quite important buildings that we have here then. As we can see, gather food. The problem though is that those herbs are gone then, you know, after a period of time. The fishing hut can produce food all day, every day, except if there's a drought. Resource-wise, we do have the forester, the recycler, scrapyard. They're important, but right now we can just gather those resources here that we have everywhere here. So it's not that important to build them right away. More important is the housing, so we're going to build some cabins soon. Other than that, electricity, stuff like that we don't need at the moment. Let's have a look at radiation. Radiation levels are stable, I see. What we could do is we could get rid of this radiation here. Right? Because we do have a bit of radiation here, and if my settlers are bored, well, they will just then get rid of that. No problem. Now, what becomes imminent on day 3 that we are right now? The problem now is that my people are starting to become unhappy because we don't have enough housing, so we should start with that. And what I can see is we are producing a lot of water right now. Pretty cool. So in this case, I think they kind of like adjusted the amount of water that you can produce, you know, that you produce in this case here. So let's get rid of 1 more water carrier. 3 should be then enough for all of that. Now let's go for our city building here. We have some basic resources. We do have another path here then going over here, and another path going over here, and probably, let's see, we might have a smaller crossroads somewhere. And I think what we can have are the fields then up here. You know, we have lots of space there close to the water, so that's going to be quite easy to fertilize the water. And in this case, let's keep this up here and build the town down here, so that we're going to have a little crossing there. Building those things, and then let's have a look. Housing, 1 cabin, a small cabin in which settlers can live and start a family. Settlers only move in as a family. Requires some wood, scraps, and maximum in number of inhabitants, 2 adults and 3 children. And that's important because without that, people don't reproduce, and we need that. We need to grow, right? So let's get those cabins up. Let's have the first block of cabins, and in this case, let's see. Let's have the first block here, rather close to the town center there. Right. And let's just have 6 of them for now, close side by side, the first block of buildings here. And let's have some road here around it done. Righto. That's that. We do need some builders. Let's get 2 builders up there. 3 carriers or 3 settlers. I call them carriers sometimes because they're doing just the stuff of carrying stuff around, you know, and getting rid of the radiation here. Stuff like that. And we always need to focus on that. You don't want to have any sick people early on. And yeah, water is still going up there quite well there. So that's good to see. And quite interesting as well is that we have modules on these buildings there. So the cistern, for example, as we can see, can have a well in its vicinity and a rain collector. Now the rain collector is very important. We need to have that early on. How much does it actually cost? I think it cost us some plastic there. Let's see. Yeah, 24 plastic that we don't have at the moment. Because the rain collector collects the rain, and once we have a drought, the rain or the water is then being consumed and put in our storage. That's important because once there's a drought, the lake will not have any water anymore. So we do need to have a rain collector as soon as possible. So far so good. People are doing their things there. I don't know, we have 2 builders. They're not building anything as far as I can see. This is the only construction site that we have. Ah, okay, he was building a patch of road there. That's it. Weather forecast, no rain tomorrow, that's good. And then 3 days of rain again. No drought yet in sight. And here we have the scrap there, very good. And enough lumber over here. Now, we can't do that forever here though, collecting the wood. Why? Because then we would have no trees anymore after a certain period of time. What we need to do here is we need to have a lumberjack hut up there soon, and they can then reforest the trees. That's something that we need to do. That's something quite important. And yeah, let's get rid of the overlay there again. Not looking that pretty. And day 4 is upon us. They're still not building down my houses now. Oh yes, now they're doing it. Now they're carrying some goods over there from our bus wreck there in the middle. Lovely building. Do we have some ornaments? I think I've already asked that once, and I don't think there are any ornaments for now. At least I don't see them. That's something I like about surviving the aftermath there, that we have ornaments. Even though they're not the prettiest looking ones. Still some ornaments at least. 11 adults now. The first cabins are coming up. People are moving in here. That's good to see. There's a young family here, so they will produce children soon. And those cabins. Now, we can then upgrade those cabins. They look more beautiful then. And, well, carry more, house more people. Or a bigger family. But right now, we just stick with that. And just build them. And as we can see, Charlie here is bringing some resources over there to that cabin here, which still requires some wood and scrap there. Some scrap now. That's it. Can now be built. And there we still need some wood, of which we have plenty of. We still have 4 homeless, 2 homeless now. And then finally, with this house here, we have houses for everyone and 1 empty house, then 1 empty cabin. Then that's good. So once we get another family moving in, they can just move into that building there, into that house. And I don't know if there is a macOS version for it. You have to look on Steam if it's macOS available. Right, so season 4 ends, day 4 ends. We still have 1 more homeless thing. And as we can see now, adults is also growing. Food is still going down now. Let's adjust, or let's assign 2 more settlers there to fishers. That's something. And let's have a hunting or a gatherer. Let's have a gatherer up here, right? So they can gather some food then for us. Just beside the fishing hut, we have the gather hut that we can build it. And then we have the work zone around it, and we can then also adjust the work zone to other areas, you know, so we don't have to get rid of the gatherer's cabin then anymore at some point. Right, the first block here is finished too. Of houses, very good. Looking fine so far. I like the graphics. Let's see, water carrier. We have enough water now. Food is now going up again as well. a bit because the fisheries, but we do need another gatherer cabin here for that. This one here is empty now. Let's demolish it. And because we still don't need scraps in the future too, let's have gather scrap. Over here we have lots of scrap. Here we have a bit of scrap. Can we have several of them? No, we can only have one of them. Right. So one here for now. This one still has some wood, and this one still has some plants in its vicinity. And 3 builders should do it now for the gatherer's cabin. Fisher, and then we have the gatherer here, but I'm not going to assign any settlers on that right now because obviously it's not finished at this point. Still need some wood there. No rain today, that's good. We don't need rain every day, but we really do have dry soil there. It's looking better over here, you know, so this is looking better there. To the north we have more fertile grounds. Here in the center we have more dry soil. That's important once we start with the fields then. Down here we also have some fertile grounds, but yeah. I think this is a good spot here for hunters and woodworkers and stuff like that. And up here we can have the fields then. Right, getting a bit foggy there now. And there we have the gatherer's cabin. Let's assign 3 gatherers on that, and they will now gather some plants there and food for us. That's important. So we have now 2 food production buildings. And as we can see, yeah, definitely, we should definitely not have fields here. What we can have is, oh yeah, this is looking fine here though. Lots of fertile ground on that side. I don't know yet where we have the fields then. This task is done for now, so we can have another gather scrap task over here. But it's getting empty now with the scrap around that, so we have to find other means then for gathering the scrap. That's important. Right now I'm just focusing fully on water and food production. Let's have 4 gatherers. We are fine with 2 builders there for now. 2 builders, right now they have nothing to do, so they get rid of the radiation here. There's some minor radiation, but as we can see, there is some uncontaminated rain and it just washes away any contamination. And in this case here, let's get rid of that. Right, so we don't need that. There's no radiation at the moment anywhere here. Okay, I hope we get a bit more food in here now. How's the moisture looking? Looking fine so far. So that we get the first fields up then soon as well. Over here. And so we have survived at least 6 days for now. Yes, just released like 1 hour ago. Oh, the food is still looking not so good. Probably have to look out for that. Do we have some more settlers? 2 more settlers there for the fields then. Day 7 is dawning upon us now. It's a foggy day as we can see. Nice weather system there. We do have some rain again, which is weakly contaminated, so there won't be much of a problem. The soil is looking good so far as I can see. So let's have some fields here. It's close to the lake there. That's good then. And there we have them cultivate fields, and we can have them here just beside the gather hut there. That's it in this case. Or we go more to that side here for the fields. It's a tricky decision there because the fields are really important, and you should always have enough of them. But yeah, now we have a drought over there, so it doesn't really matter where you place them, you know. This changes so often, the ground there. So in this case, let's have the fields here. Let's have one here beside the gather hut, a big one. What's the biggest one? That would be the biggest one. Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the biggest field that we can have. In this case, let's not have it that big. Right, let's have it here. So we can have some roads around it then. So that we have the other road then. And then we have a second field here. And then a road going up here. And probably another field here. Right, so just where the forest then begins, in this case there. And let's have another road. Right, connecting those streets there. Very good. The fields are already now placed here. So all we need to have is I'm choosing a seed. So we need to choose something here. We've got lots of seeds available and they all have advantages and disadvantages. The wheat, for example, is only takes almost 2 days and has a yield of 480 food. The squash there has 4 days almost, but has 1,000 food. So you should decide of what you want. Some of them are also important then later for stuff like joints that you can make in the pub and stuff like that. And in this case, that is the hemp then that we can have. So let's have one for hemp. This one here probably right away. Hemp, choose it. And this one here we can have the wheat that we choose it then. And this one here we can say, let's have some potatoes are really long though. Some corn, right? So we choose corn here. All they need now is some workforce. So 1 worker for 1 field is the usual amount. And let's say I get rid of 1 gather here and just assign then 3 of them to the farms, right? So all of them have now some workforce here. And what they're doing now is they're sowing the fields there. And well, then we need to wait for them to grow and to harvest. It's hard to say at this point what is better. I think Surviving the Aftermath has a bit more content at the moment. So this one here is really about surviving as long as you can, because the game gets more difficult over time. And Surviving the Aftermath more has something with the world map and the quests, stuff like that. So I think this will be more interesting for now, you know, Surviving the Aftermath. I mean, I don't know, we can see how far we go, day 40 perhaps, and then I can have another verdict. No idea so far. Looking good though, gotta say that, yeah. Right, there are my farmers now on this rainy day. Does it raise my contamination levels there? Not that much, that's good to see. And we have 5 children already, so more children are coming up now. 13 adults that are working, 3 water carriers. Another children there, 6 children now, and food though is a problem so far, but it's not at 0, that's good. And as we can see now, they're sowing the fields here. Now all my people are used in those production chains here, so I cannot do anything else basically at the moment. We need to wait there a moment until we get more adults there. They grow up rather quickly though, that's a good thing. And day 7 is at an end. Day 8 is coming upon us. No rain today. That's not that bad because I think, yes, we do have some wet soil here. And radiation is basically at 0 for the moment. And as we can see, the wheat field, the hemp field and the corn field are taking shape. Hey there, Piotr. I'm doing fine. How are you? New game. What could be better than a new game? And here we have the scrap pile. Unfortunately, there's no worker on that right now. We are collecting quite enough of water there, so I'm inclined to get rid of 1 water carrier. And this one will then collect us some scrap that we also need. You know, we do need wood and scraps there all the time. So It's good to have one that is carrying around or gathering some piles there. Look at that. And this game is just, what I think about now is just perfect for preparing me for Fallout 76. New big Wastelander update in April and on Steam release. Looking forward to that. And this just has the same vibe to it. Now food is going down. We do have the fields. The problem with the feeds, as you can see, is that it needs time to grow here. So planting is 47%. Nothing is there happening. But once we can harvest them, then it becomes quite profitable to have them. What I can also see right now is that this can't be happening. Like, everything is dry now. It's not dried out, but it just was wet, you know, and all of a sudden it's dry. So this is happening a bit too quickly, in my opinion. Just within half a day, you have dried out soil. And we do have settlers now without protection. We don't have any radiation at the moment, so we don't need it really. But we should think about producing some radiation protection up here. Right, once we have enough settlers again. Right now we have 13 adults, 11 children. That's quite a lot. Another uncontaminated rain today. That's fine, so no radiation coming up. Right, so our 3 buildings here are working. We're getting some water in. Food still low, but I'm confident. The cornfield here, for example, is 100% and is growing. So tomorrow I think we can then finally harvest it, and then we'll get a lot of food coming in there. 12 children, almost as many children as adults. They're quite diligent, my adults here, working in their huts. We have a builder. He's still collecting the scrap, right? Yep, the scrap's there. Few houses here, nothing else here. What we can have then is for the community a pub, for example, a campfire, stuff like that, you know, making things interesting. A hospital, very important, and the weather station. But they're all so expensive and we just can't afford them. We need plastics and electronics, stuff that we don't have at this point. Angus, the game only costs 20 euros, as I know. Certainly not $60. It's certainly not that much. It's around $20 or something like that. And thank you, new trainee, that you like it so much. Giving my best here. Well, I don't really have a survival strategy right now. I've played the game only once before in the closed beta, and I know what happens. You know, the game gets harder over time. And I know that we need to produce lots of stuff like radiation protection amongst them and a hospital early. Last time my biggest problem was that I haven't had a hospital ready on time and lost lots of settlers because of sickness. Are you sure it's $60? Even if it's Canadian dollars? That sounds really high to me. Alright, more and more resources are brought in, and as we can see now, the cornfield is finally being harvested. The same with the the wheat here, and that's lots of food coming in now into our storage here. We still only have 13 adults, so the problem with that is that I can't grow at the moment. I need more adults. We have 14 children. That's really high. What we can do though is we can have a few more houses, because soon those children will grow up and then they want to have their own home, and we should not have them waiting. Shelter sounds interesting. I don't know why we would need a shelter though, when we can have cabins for now. So let's have some more cabins here. And one more here, probably. Don't want to have, well, that we have that pond here, so it's fine. And let's have this settler here being assigned as a builder, so she starts now to build those cabins there. And we do have another adult there, good to see. Let's have a look. We have now, oh, 2 more adults. That's very good to see. In fact, let's have 1 more water carrier, because of course they consume more water then, and 1 more gatherer, so that we have a better food production then. And absolutely, the water looks better this time. Last time I was like thirsty all the time, and this time it looks much better. We get lots of adults in here now. 16, very good. And yeah, the fields are bringing in a lot of food now. So good to see. We do have some good moisture there and no radiation so far. 3 water carriers, right? Yeah, and 2 adults now ready and waiting. So we can have them as builders. Let's have another builder there. And we have now a free worker actually. That's pretty good to see. Actually, there's another one coming in now. So we have 18 adults. Some homeless there, but that's fine. Cabins are coming up. Now we can finally go for some more production buildings. So let's have a look. We do have the hunting lodge still. That's good for food. But since I think those 3 fields will be enough, they're still being harvested. As we can see, we have the gatherer here and the fisher. That really should be enough for the food. Let's have a look at the resources. And the number 1 thing that I might have is the recycler actually, because this separates the metal, cloth, plastic or electronics from scrap. Now that's important because with cloth we can make the radiation protection. We do have enough logs for now. So let's have the recycler as our first building here really. That, well, then processes those things. We can also have the scrapyard. The scrapyard is then, you know, getting those scraps there with work areas. So that's something. We just need to think about an area where we can have some industry. You know, right now we have some cabins here. We have the food and water production up there. So I'm inclined to go with the industry more down here and to that side there. We do have lots of scraps over here. And some ruins. That's pretty important. There we have the nuclear power plant, not that far away. So yes, absolutely, this is looking like a good area here for our industry. And let's have a look there. We do have the logistics. So there's the road again. And in this case here, let's have the road down, or going all the way. Yeah, down here for now. Right, and down here I want to have my forester lodge then. It just fits in there so perfectly. Having the forester lodge in here, it can also replant those trees then. And the scrapyard I want to have over here then. Right, far away from the town there. From the main town. There we have the scrapyard. And beside the scrapyard, we can then have 2 recyclers. I'm going to build 2 recyclers right away. We do need lots of them. We do have the settlers available now. And since so many adults are growing up right now, as we can see, 19 adults now. Food is still not looking the best there. Let's have 1 more water carrier. And let's, oh yeah, homeless we have as well. And we have no tools now, so that's something. That's why we need the recycler. And workshop produces tools. But for that we will need the metals, you know, and that is something. We have a task as far as I can see. So our first task as well. In this case, gather resources from the surroundings, you know, wood stored, gather wood. And then we get some scraps and some herbs for that. So let's have the forester lodge down here. And have a dirt road going then all the way up here too. In fact, let's use this one. That's better, into that wood here, that forest that we have down here. Yes, so that sounds about right, Angus. But who knows if that is worth it. We'll just see. There is nothing else than the survival game right now, so you just have to survive as many days as possible. So I don't think there is that much replayability behind it if it's just, you know, surviving the days there. But we'll see how it turns out. And I do have the basic resources now, so food is still the most important thing there. Is it food this time that's the problem? Not water anymore. It seems like it. And yeah, we have now 4 free settlers there, 22 adults. So in this case here, having the production buildings down here is fine. But what we also need is definitely something for hunting there. So we do have the hunting lodge. And let's have the hunter here too with the forest cabin there. Down here into the wood there, down there. Let's have a hunting cabin here. That's fine. So we have lots of buildings now being in construction. Hopefully we have enough resources for that. So wood and scraps at the moment are the most important things there. Food is red there all the time, but still stable around 200. I think we'll need more farmers. Let's assign 2 more farmers there for the fields. Right, so there they are. More farmers means they can harvest faster and they can also sow faster the plants then. Right, let's have another water carrier and another farmer. That we really have those basics there fixed. And here we have now the forester lodge. In this case here, the forester lodge cut down and reforest. I'm going to leave that active because we want to have more trees as well. And let's assign the 2 settlers that I still have available there to the forester lodge. So now we have a permanent and endless supply of wood coming in. That's important because wood we need for construction, but also for the coal then later. And coal is very important for water filtration. That's that. More cabins, 2 more cabins should be constructed as well. And there we have now the first recycler. In this case, let's wait for the buildings here to finish and then we can reassign those builders to the recycler there, right? So this recycler here produces some cloth for us that we need, and this one here some plastic. And the scrapyard then, well, it just gets the scrap. And in this case, I think what we can do, actually hunting lodge, let's cancel this for now. I think if I have more farmers here at the fields, that will be enough. I mean, I hope so. Day 14, they start to sow here the fields again. Here too. The wheat is still taking a bit more time there. Let's have another farmer. We have another settler ready, but the food is not looking good this time. How is construction looking down here? Everything has been constructed, so let's get rid of the 3 builders. Let's assign 2 of them to the refiner. Those 2 buildings there, and 1 to the scrapper. Right, so this one here, now we start to produce some scrap there, and they are then refining those goods. Beautiful. There's a train even, lots of scrap on it, and food is going up again a bit, but it's still not enough for my taste. Three fields, certainly wouldn't make sense to have another field there. How's the task looking? We are not going to make this task here, but it doesn't matter. 30 scraps is not that important, you know. Gee, if we really don't need that much wood. Was that some kind of contest? No idea. Right, water is now going down too. For the first time. We do have so many new adults coming in there, and adults consume a lot. What we need is a second cistern. Right, so we can have... One can only house 5. Upgrade the building. Nope, that's not it. So we do need another one. And let's leave that tree, those trees there. I like them. There we have the cistern. And it just can't be right though that we have, look at that, we have a population of like 34, and we have 5 water carriers, 4 fisher, 4 gatherer, and 7 farmers, and yet we don't have enough food and water. So the balancing in this case just doesn't seem right to me. This, yeah, I don't know. This definitely needs to have some look at it again. Can't be right that there's so many people working on food and water and yet we barely survive. Right, that was the task. Doesn't matter. We need the wood to produce more. We get 3 more adults now. All of a sudden. And let's have them as builders. We need to build them. And let's have another farmer. Right, so we got lots of farmers now. 8 farmers. So those fields should be up and running in no time. That's that. And the cistern that we have here. And another adult. Yeah, that's problematic. Look at the food. It's relentlessly going down. I cannot do anything. Do we have some task for that? Gather resources, gather plants. We can have that. There's some food here and herbs. Let's have a task there. So if people are bored, they can do that. Especially my builders. And yeah, let's have a hunter too. Hunting lodge. And we can have that down here. Oh, actually, in fact, the food there went down. There's no game. There is one. 600. 690. Yeah, let's have the hunting cabin here. We can always, you know, change the field of work there if we want to. But we need to build that. We definitely need more food. Alright, the 3 fields are working. Another cistern is up and running. Water is not looking that bad, but not looking that good either. So let's have 1 builder working in the cistern now in the new one. And 1 builder is building the hunting lodge, and then we have hunters too. And what I can also see is that cloth is now going up and plastic is going up. Very important. Plus we don't have that many children because we don't have that many cabins at the moment. So we need to build them too. A bit of food is left. Right, so there the next field is being harvested. That's some food there again. The next field here. And look at that, it's barely enough. It's a bit strange. This is corn, right? And it's moist area, so it's perfectly fine. And yet we barely make any food out of this one here. I'm a bit surprised. $25 adults, so we lost some adults there it seems. Let's build some more cabins. We can build them here. Or let's build them here for now. 2 more here. Right, and then probably another block of cabins here then. Oh, we have a building here later then. Something like a pub or a medical facility. Or school. School fits in there. Right, perfectly fine. So we can just finish here the dirt road. Going up here. And then we have some more buildings there, right? So that fits. That fits. Yeah, perfect. And then let's have some more cabins here. How much does it cost again? 8 wood. 15 scraps. Not that much. Right, so 1 builder, he's going to take a bit of time there, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know about the food though. I'm totally exhausted with the food. The thing is, I have 3 fields, fisher, a gatherer, a hunter, and barely enough food in such a small population here. So last time it was the water, this time it's the food. That's a problem, right? Look at all those farmers here. Lots of food coming in there. But we are starving. I think we lost a few adults there due to starvation. Right, more is coming in now at least. And 2 builders. And another task. Scraps stored. We would get some metal tools for that. That's good. We do need the metal tools. So let's have that. Let's work for that goal there. Scrapyard actually needs someone. And hemp. So we do have the wheat here, the corn, and hemp is also producing us some food, right? Oh, it's only producing us some hemp there. Totally right. We should choose something else there instead. I doubt it though that this is changing much there. Bell pepper. Let's have bell pepper instead. We do have lots of hemp now in store though, right? That we can use for joints then. Oh yeah, 420 hemp. That's pretty good. So once we have the pop, people will be really happy. Right, so we lost someone again. Strangely enough, okay. At least the fields there are being worked on. And then instead of the hemp here, we have the pepper then. That's fine. And let's get rid of one refiner here and have him as a scrap collector. I think that's going to be important. Water carrier, let's have only 5 there, should be fine. And instead of that, oh yeah, let's have a hunter. We do have now hunters down here. Lots of game around. 1,200 food waiting there. And what I can see here is there's a drought coming as well. So for the drought, we should have some more water prepared then. It's definitely going to be only 1 day, that drought. Right, bell pepper is now being sowed. Here we have the corn. And there we have the cabin. Right, we do have a builder, right? 2 builders, in fact. Let's get... Oh, there's the next cabin. Very good. So we have no homeless at the moment. In this case here, let's have both builders work as a scrap collector. We do need more scraps. And thus day 18 ends. I gotta say, I don't remember this game being that brutal. But something is definitely wrong with the numbers, I think. Or I'm doing some terrible big mistakes that I just don't see. Like we have a perfect, almost a perfect food production up here. People are dying like flies through something I don't understand because we have enough food. Even it's not much, but it's still a bit. There's no radiation here at the moment. So I have no idea why people are dying all the time. Look at that, we lost 3 adults again. To something I don't understand. One more. One more. They just die. There's no radiation, so I don't see why we should have radiation protection. Thanks, Ulf. See ya. We have some statistics here, so the clothing and the tools, education, fertility, but it doesn't state anywhere why my people are dying or something like that. They're dying because of starvation, I guess. There is no pollution here. Absolutely not. No radiation at all. Let's have another farmer there. Oh, in fact, let's have another hunter. I think that works better. Scrap collector works, so we do have some scrap again. Let's have another scrapper working here as a water carrier, since water is also going down there. Hey JJ, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Okay, food is a bit stable there, but water is now going down too. Scrap store, there's a new mission on that. We might have another scrap collector out of the settlers that we have. But yeah, as you can see, we are losing settlers there all the time, even though we have food and we have water. Drought is incoming. No idea. I have no idea why my people are dying all the time. We have food, we have water. It's not much, but it's a bit. And other than that, I have no idea how to get more water and food. Like, we have basically the whole colony is focused on those two things. And yet, we can't have any of that in store. It's incredible. Usually I don't say this, but I think this might be a bug in this case. This definitely can't be right. Let's have one more water carrier, and instead of a scrap collector, let's have a water carrier as well. So we have 5 water carriers, even though there's the drought coming in now. In this case, I think, yeah, look at that. The river is gone now, or the lake. Food is going up, but again a bit there at least. I hope we can survive this day, otherwise we're screwed. Look at that, there's the drought. So it's dried out, soil everywhere, and people are harvesting it as fast as they can. We can reassign those people that were water carriers previously work as hunters and fishers. And fishers, they can't work either. Scrap collectors for now, something like that. Alright, day 22 comes to an end, and that means the drought is over, so there should be water again in here. Or not, I don't know. Is the day over now? Or day 23? And there we have water again. Very good. Let's have 5 water carriers again right away. 6 of them actually. We do need the water. And there's some rain as well, so we do have some, yep. Good soil there again. But as we can see, people keep dying. I certainly don't need a hospital right now, sorry, JJ. I barely have any water and food, and I can't get those two things up there, so I have no idea how to continue this game. We have the whole colony focused on water and food at the moment, and it's still not enough. We are losing people all the time because of starvation and thirst, and I have no idea how to improve that, because everyone's working on those two things. I have no resources for hospital. Yeah, McDonald's might be the right one. McDonald's always has food, right? Even if it's some questionable food, it's still food. Water is going up again a bit there, food is going up again a bit, so at least perhaps we managed to do it. So settlers in poor health, that is something else. We need herbs to keep them healthy. We do have enough herbs, definitely. In this case, now it's going up again a bit. That's good to see. Enough water, enough food is coming in there. Scrap, we have enough. Do we have foresters? 2 foresters there. So those numbers are looking better again. We have some plants here for the herbs and stuff like that. And gatherer here for the food. Looking fine. Now herbal hut, that would be the next one. We do need herbs. And we're losing people again. Probably to bad health or something like that. Alright, it's day 25. We kind of survived the worst things here. We're losing people right now, I think, due to low health. So we do need a herbal hut. Something to collect the herbs. Up here we have lots of herbs, as we can see. So let's have a herbal hut here too. Just around here, and let's build this one. Do we have builders? Let's have 2 builders ready there. And in this case I really want to focus on that. Let's cancel this one here, this construction there, and this construction. So we only construct this one now. That should be fine. We need to get the health up there, otherwise we'll keep losing adults there, and we don't want that, obviously. So let's build this one here. So this has now the highest priority. Build next. Hopefully they do that, so that we get some herbs. In fact, I can't see herbs up here though, you know, so it's here, average health of all settlers, and in this case here, I just need to have herbs in store, so people can get treated with that. There we built the herbal hut. Water and food is looking a bit better. Water, yeah, right, we have 1 free settler. Let's have him as... Oh, that's difficult. As a herbalist then, right? Because the herbal hut is coming up. So let's wait for that building here to finish. We have lots of resources. In fact, we don't need that many foresters there right now. Let's have 1 forester only. So we can use this one here as a farmer then. Right, and herbal hut should be built now. We have... Oh no. Still needs the resources. It's a bit far away though from my town center, so that's why it takes so long. What we could have here, let's have a look there. Do we have some storage ability? Logistics, there's the warehouse. All kinds of resources are kept in a warehouse. This building can store water. Now if we have it here, then people probably don't have to go that far anymore, you know, that long distances there. So we should have probably a warehouse here or something. Seems expensive. 52 scrap, 30... No, we can afford that. And let's have the warehouse here. Because we have lots of important buildings up here. And if we focus on that area there, then the warehouse will be enough and people don't have to go all the way down here to the bus there all the time. That's important. Herbal hut now gets the resources there. Very good. Now it only needs to be constructed. And there it's coming up. And there it is. Herbal hut. Very good. One settler. Let's get him as a herbalist. In fact, let's have 3 herbalists. We do need to get all the herbs in there. As many as possible. And hopefully this improves now the average health of settlers. Right, do we have, oh yeah, and one builder, he can build the warehouse. Right, there's the warehouse coming up. Beautiful building. As beautiful as it can be in this world. We should probably have, let's see, another road then. There's the house now. The warehouse, a big building that is. Certainly looks interesting. And let's see, do we have some more adults again? Yes, the health is improving. Look at that. Average health of settlers is skyrocketed up there. So hopefully we're not losing any settlers there now. And let's use the settlers that we have there in the food production. Right? That's that. And hopefully they bring over the stuff now and they're doing it very good. They're delivering now the things to the warehouse here. And thus we have way more in store much quicker. You know, they don't have to go there. These distant distances anymore. So I think that was one of the reasons why we never had enough here, because they always had to carry it all the way down here to our town center, which can't work obviously at some point. Now we get way more adults in here again. We have enough herbs. Water and food is still not looking the best. They're not trustworthy, but it's fine for now. And scrap is looking fine. Herbalist, I think 2 herbalists will be fine. Let's build something new, right? We do need new things there. Now we can focus on that again. We do need a tailor's workshop urgently for some radiation protection. And what we need is a workshop to produce some tools. Now the workshop does need metal. And in this case here, we do need to focus on metal with 1 here instead of plastic. Right, and let's have 2 refiners then here. We have now enough settlers. Let's have another fisher for the food and another water carrier up here. And 1 builder, he can build something. And remove radiation, because we do have some basic radiation in here, but we have lots uncontaminated rain right now. So the radiation, as you can see, is being washed away at the moment. So we don't need to worry about that. Another drought is also coming up. I hope we can have enough food, enough water then up to this point. Right, lots of adults are coming in now. That's good to see. Let's have another gatherer then. We need that. We need all the food we can have. And the scrapyard. I think the scrapyard, we have 2 collectors here, but what it needs is more scraps in its radius, so we can move the work area for that. And for the hunter, he's got some game down here. That's good. So we can move it over there. Water is fine over here. Water is fine there. Gatherer cabin, we can change it more to that area there. Same with the herbs. So that they always have enough there in store. Right, drought is coming up soon. We don't have that much water. So perhaps I'm going to move one of them. Let's see. Yeah, a scrap collector to water carriers. We have 10 water carriers. We need to store as much water as possible today. And they're working hard on that, hopefully. Right, and that builder here can work as a farmer for now. We do need more farmers here. This needs to happen more quickly. There is something harvested here. There are some new fields coming up again. Food out of the red zone now. The same with the water. That's good. And this should last us a day there at least with the water. Alright, we fail at this mission, but that's inevitable. That number was really high, 46. And I can't affect that somehow, you know, so in this case. That's that. Do we have enough resources? I should really focus on tools and protection there. So I'm getting some metal in there now, as I can see. And then we can build the workshop. With that, I can have some tools then. And we need tools. Really, really need them. This increases the settlers' productivity. And there's the drought. And what I also want to do here, since we do have some medium radiation, let's have the remove radiation task here. Having some contaminated settlers there. Settlers with no protection, yeah. That's because we wasted so much time there on... Oh, and there's a sandstorm as well coming over my population there. Slows down the settlers. Redistributes the radiation. Nope, not really. We still have the same amount of radiation here in the middle, of course, as well. Right, more settlers here. That's good to see. Let's have another scrap collector. In fact, let's have the second refinery here also get some metal there so we can speed it up there. And let's have a tailor. We do need a tailor's workshop. We can have that, let's see, here in fact. Oh, over here. I think that's better. A tailor's workshop and the workshop itself. Right, so some industry buildings there, and there is some radiation here, but it's not much, it's low, that's still fine. The drought is over, so we finally can get some water again. And here we have another task, wood storage, that should definitely work. Nah, we'll be building a few things there right now, so it's not that worthy anyway, what we get out of it. If there would be tools, well, that would be different. And yeah, radiation is going up, so let's build that tailor's workshop here quickly. Let's have it on high priority. And we should have enough metal then soon. For the workshop. Because those are the most two important things right now. And yeah, we need to repair those buildings here before they can work again. It seems like they got disrupted by the sandstorm. Day 32. There we have the tailor now being finished in all its beauty. And now we can say build get us some neck scarves, get us some this one we can't get here, carbon mask, but neck scarf is fine. And for that we can have 2 working as a tailor, and they consume then some cloth. We have enough cloth, so finally we can get some radiation protection here. That's something we need. No, this is Endzone, this is not Surviving the Aftermath. So Surviving the Aftermath is a different game, but quite similar. Right, 10 water carriers is fine, so we do get quite a lot of water in. In fact, I can get rid of 2 of them and redistribute them to Fisher, producing a bit there. Right, and 2 tailors now working on this one here, so we have neck scarves in store now, finally again. And Herbal Hut should now, yeah, produce some herbs there for us again. So we have scrap, cloth, fish, mushroom. I would love to see some herbs here. The workshop still needs 2 metal there. That we should get out of the scrap there soon now. Health is increasing again, that's good to see. Happiness is not looking that good though. Right, let's build the workshop next there. And food is low again, like that. So in this case here, going down. This is just really brutal though, collecting food and stuff like that. We should have now some protection. And technician is now available, so that's the workshop here. There we can get some tools. That is something we need. So let's have 1 technician. He produces us some scrap tools then. And then we have the radiation protection here. We do have enough herbs, so radiate people should get some treatment at least. The thing now is that the food is down there. Let's have the forester work as a farmer. And I don't think we need 2 refiners there at the moment. Even the 1... Oh yeah, we definitely need the cloth though, so that's something. And don't expect any zombies here. It's really against the weather and the climate and radiation. And what I can see most importantly, the food. That's something. The biggest problem here so far. But we are still fighting. We still live. Radiation is really high now. What I don't think is the game does really a poor job of telling you what's really on the horizon, what's really important. You know, you're really lost here most of the time. Like, I didn't see that radiation goes up and all of a sudden it's that high there. For some reasons we only have contaminated rain from day 30 onwards, so you kind of should know that. Otherwise you're screwed, it seems, because now we only get contaminated rain. And for that we need to prepare, of course. Now, what I'm doing is I do have a tailor workshop, but he's not producing enough neck scarves. I don't know how they get consumed anyway. They just disappear, it seems. They don't do anything there. And what I can still do is having the hospital or medical facility. That needs electronics and plastic though. That's something I absolutely don't have, even remotely. And which just takes an insane amount of time to recover from. We still have lots of contaminated settlers, in fact everyone. All of the adults. Health is going up though a bit, that's good to see. Lots of dead people lying around here. That's my settlers. Do we have some tools now at least? Let's see. We do have... It does need scrap and metal, so we do have the resources. For some reasons we're not producing any tools though. Or they're just being consumed then right away. That might be possible. But it's hard to produce anything else than food, you know, when it's constantly down. Even if you have so many buildings up and running here. And yes, we still have some hemp in store. That might be a good idea to make some joints out of it. But then again, I don't even have someone working in a pub then. I can have another refiner. So we have 2 now, 1 plastic. We have some tools now in store. I do need to have 1 for clothes, 1 for plastic though. 10 plastic. How much is the hospital? 20 plastic, so we still need to wait on that. Radiation levels look better again. And there we are losing settlers again. So I've played this... So I've played this game now 2 times, and both times it felt very, I don't know, very unpredictable in a bad way though, you know, like not in a way like Frostpunk, but more like in a way chaos, totally. The game does a very poor job of telling me what's really going on, you know. So I don't know, my settlers are constantly starving, even though I've focused like 90% of my workforce on the food production. And if that's not the case, then my settlers are thirsty, because even 10 water carriers would not be enough to supply 30 people, it seems. And on the other side, you have the problem that you need to constantly build something. But in this case here, I absolutely have no workforce, because if I get rid of just 1 water carrier, my population would go, you know, without water all of a sudden. And food, 3 fields, 1 fisher, 1 hunter, 1 gatherer. You can't tell me that this is not possible here to have enough food. And we're totally out of food all the time. In fact, I've lost like, I think 30 people already to starvation. That is something that's absolutely not cool to look at. And other than that, I don't know why radiation goes up and down, you know, because we have uncontaminated rain, which should wash radiation away, but it doesn't. In fact, I get even higher contaminated areas than sometimes. Stuff like this makes this game really strange in my opinion right now. It doesn't feel balanced to me, at least, and I've played it now 2 times. Either it's just me and I'm extremely bad at this, or there is something not right in the mechanics behind it. And they really should think about how they can change that, because it's not normal to lose adults to starvation all the time, even if you have food. And radiation is high, but how can I lower the radiation? You know, I am producing radiation protection, and other than that, no idea. Health is high, people are still dying though, like flies. And there's just doesn't seem to me any balance here, how you can manage your population there in the right way. I don't know. That's just my verdict there. So far, I would not go for buy here. It's, in this case here, I don't think that it's worth it at the moment. It just feels a bit frustrating overall. But that's just me. Perhaps I'm just bad at it, or perhaps the game really is like that. I have no idea. And with that, I'm going to leave it now, because I simply don't have fun here, and we'll just continue with some other games that are fun then. And with that, hopefully you enjoyed this stream anyway, and this Let's Play, and yeah, wish you all the best, stay healthy, and cheers!